Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, specifically focusing on the 2010 D1 cent coin, a penny that has stunned the numismatic community and casual collectors alike by reaching an astonishing value of $2 million due to a series of unusual errors, minting mistakes, and peculiarities that make it a highly sought-after piece in the world of rare US currency. And before we explore the technicalities and the history behind this incredible coin, let's set the stage by appreciating that while the 2010 D penny was minted in a standard production run, certain coins in circulation somehow escaped the quality control of the US Mint, leading to anomalies that make some specimens extraordinarily rare and valuable. So for collectors and investors, this coin represents not just a piece of metal but a symbol of minting unpredictability, a window into the meticulous process of coin production, and a rare opportunity to own something truly unique. Now the 2010 D penny is part of the Lincoln Cent series, a series that has been produced since 1909 and has seen numerous design changes, metal composition shifts, and minting innovations. But what makes the 2010 D stand out in particular are the errors that occurred during its production, errors that are extremely rare, which include double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, and weak or missing mint marks, with each of these factors significantly affecting the coin's market value. For example, double strikes occur when the coin blank passes through the press more than once, resulting in overlapping images that create a distorted yet fascinating appearance. Collectors prize such double strikes because each one is unique, and no two double strikes are ever exactly the same, giving each coin its own personality and story. Another type of error found on some 2010 D pennies involves off-center strikes, which happen when the coin blank is not properly aligned in the die, causing part of the design to be missing or truncated. And depending on the degree of off-centering, some coins can show extreme visual appeal while still retaining recognizable features, making them highly desirable to serious collectors. The 2010 D penny also gained notoriety for die cracks, which are small fractures in the die used to strike the coin that transfer onto the coin itself, creating raised lines or ridges on the surface of the penny that can sometimes appear as intricate patterns. Die cracks are particularly interesting because they tell a story about the coin production process and can sometimes even help numismatists trace back the specific die used at the mint. Another key factor in the coin's value is the mint mark, and in some rare cases, the D mint mark on the 2010 D penny can appear weak, partially missing, or doubled due to minting inconsistencies. And coins with such mint mark anomalies are in exceptionally high demand because they provide a glimpse into the human and mechanical errors that inevitably occur even in highly controlled environments. In addition to these minting errors, there is also the matter of metal composition, as the 2010 pennies were made primarily of copper-plated zinc, and in extremely rare instances, a planchet, the metal blank, intended for another denomination or even another year might have been mistakenly struck as a 2010 D cent, producing a variant that is highly unusual and therefore commanding enormous prices in auctions. Furthermore, grading plays a massive role in the value of any coin, and for the 2010 D penny, specimens that are in pristine condition with no wear, scratches, or handling marks can exponentially increase the coin's market price, with professional grading by reputable services such as PCGS or NGC certifying these coins as MS65 or higher, making them virtually flawless. Such grading can add millions to the value, especially for coins with unique errors. And it's worth noting that the rarity is also amplified by the fact that once discovered, these coins tend to vanish into private collections, never to reappear on the market for years, which further drives their scarcity and the mystique surrounding them. Collectors and investors alike are drawn to this coin not only for its monetary value but also for the excitement of owning a piece of history that could have easily gone unnoticed. The story behind a 2010 D penny with an error is often as captivating as the coin itself, as many of these coins are found by ordinary people who never expected to stumble upon such a treasure, perhaps in pocket change, a drawer, or a cash register. And when such a coin is authenticated and confirmed as a true error specimen, it often makes headlines and dramatically changes the perceived value of what was once considered common currency. In addition, the 2010 D penny teaches us a lot about the minting process, including the importance of die maintenance, quality control, and the tiny mechanical quirks that can turn a standard coin into a numismatic marvel. This coin serves as a reminder that even in modern times with highly sophisticated technology, human oversight and mechanical imperfections can create outcomes that are not only historically significant but also financially lucrative. Moreover, the market for such rare error coins has grown immensely in recent years, with collectors willing to pay unprecedented sums at auctions to secure a piece like the 2010 penny, and in some cases, multiple bidders engage in heated competition, driving the final price to extraordinary levels, which is precisely how this coin has reached its $2 million valuation, and this value is not static. It can continue to rise as more collectors recognize the rarity and significance of the coin, while at the same time, the finite number of known error specimens ensures that demand remains high and supply extremely limited. It's also interesting to explore the psychology behind collecting these coins, as many enthusiasts are fascinated by the idea of owning something that embodies a mistake, a flaw, or a deviation from the norm, because it represents uniqueness, individuality, and a tangible connection to the unpredictability of production processes. This makes error coins like the 2010 penny emotionally appealing as well as financially valuable. Some coins even exhibit combinations of multiple errors on a single specimen, such as an off-center strike with a double die and a die crack, making them the holy grail for collectors, and these combinations exponentially increase both rarity and value. So for anyone entering the field of numismatics or simply looking for a high-stakes collectible, understanding the nuances of errors, grading, provenance, and historical context is crucial, and the 2010 penny is a perfect example of how all these factors converge to create an extraordinary collectible. In conclusion, the 2010 1-cent coin is not just a piece of change, it is a numismatic treasure that exemplifies the unpredictable nature of coin production, the meticulous art and science of minting, and the thrill of collecting rare anomalies. Its errors, from double strikes to off-center strikes, die cracks, and mint-mark peculiarities, combined with its scarcity, historical context, and demand among collectors have propelled its value to an astonishing $2 million, demonstrating that even the humblest penny can become a symbol of both history and wealth when the right conditions of rarity, error, and preservation align perfectly. So for all coin enthusiasts, the story of the 2010 penny is a reminder to always inspect coins carefully, cherish the unusual, and understand that the world of numismatics is full of hidden gems waiting to be discovered, where a simple cent could transform from common currency into a multi-million-dollar treasure, capturing the imagination of collectors, investors, and anyone fascinated by the remarkable intersection of chance, craftsmanship, and historical significance. Next, 1994 1-cent USA coin. Today we are diving deep into the astonishing value and unique characteristics of the 1994 1-cent coin, a coin that has captivated collectors and investors alike due to its extraordinary errors, remarkable mistakes, and the sheer rarity that elevates its worth to an eye-popping $2.2 million. Making it not just a piece of currency but a true treasure in the world of numismatics. And as we explore this coin, it's important to understand that the 1994 cent is not just valuable because it is old or because it is in mint condition, but because it bears certain anomalies that are incredibly rare, anomalies that make each coin almost like a fingerprint, unique and impossible to replicate perfectly. And the first of these anomalies often discussed among experts is the off-center strike, a striking error that occurs when the coin blank, or planchet, does not align correctly with the striking dies, causing the design of the coin to be shifted from its intended position. In some cases, this off-center strike can be quite dramatic, showing only parts of Lincoln's profile on the obverse and a fragment of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, creating an unusual and visually arresting coin that immediately attracts attention from collectors who are constantly on the lookout for coins that break the mold of perfection. And it is not just the off-center strike that makes the 1994 cent so valuable. Another key factor is the double die error, an error that occurs during the die-making process, when the image that is supposed to be engraved onto the coin dies twice but slightly misaligned, resulting in a doubling of the design elements on the coin. And in the case of the 1994 penny, collectors have identified doubling in the inscriptions, such as the word "Liberty" and the date, which can appear shadowed or doubled in a way that is immediately noticeable to the trained eye. And while to the casual observer it might look like a minor flaw, to numismatists, this doubling represents an incredibly rare deviation from the standard production process, and coins exhibiting such errors are highly sought after because they cannot be intentionally reproduced, making them genuine rarities that have the potential to dramatically increase in value over time. and another interesting anomaly associated with the 1994 cent is the die crack, which occurs when the metal dies used to strike coins develop cracks due to the immense pressure and repeated use during production, resulting in raised lines or unexpected ridges on the coin's surface, and these die cracks can take on fascinating patterns, sometimes forming arcs, branches, or even letter-like shapes that make each coin distinct, turning what might be considered a defect into a feature that adds a level of uniqueness and intrigue for collectors. And combined with these errors, there is also the consideration of planchet flaws, which are imperfections in the metal blank itself, such as lamination errors where thin layers of metal peel away or impurities that create pits or rough textures, and when these flaws coincide with striking errors like off-center strikes or doubled dies, the result is a coin that is completely one of a kind, a tangible example of the unpredictable nature of coin production and a symbol of why collectors prize anomalies over perfectly minted coins. And it is also worth mentioning the rarity factor, as the 1994 1-cent coin was produced during a period of high mintage, but only a very small fraction of these coins exhibit the errors that make them extraordinary, meaning that while millions of pennies were struck that year, only a handful show the specific mistakes that collectors are after, creating a scarcity that drives up demand and consequently the market value to astronomical levels. And in addition to the technical errors, provenance and condition play critical roles in the valuation of the 1994 penny, as coins that are preserved in pristine uncirculated condition or graded highly by professional numismatic grading services command significantly higher prices, and those with a well-documented history or previously owned by notable collectors can see their value multiplied, since collectors not only seek rarity and error but also the assurance of authenticity and quality. And another intriguing aspect of the 1994 penny's value lies in the psychological and cultural factors surrounding coin collecting, as enthusiasts are often drawn to stories, anomalies, and historical quirks that connect them to a larger narrative, making coins like this one not just pieces of metal but artifacts with stories embedded in every flaw, every misalignment, and every imperfection. And as the market for rare coins continues to grow, the 1994 penny stands as a prime example of how even small denominations can yield massive returns when they feature unusual production errors, a phenomenon that underscores the unpredictable and fascinating world of numismatics, and collectors often speculate on the possibilities for such coins, imagining what it would be like to discover one in loose change, a moment that combines excitement, luck, and the thrill of uncovering a potential fortune. And while the $2.2 million valuation might seem almost unbelievable for a coin that originally had a face value of just 1 cent, it reflects the intense desire among collectors to obtain items that are exceptionally rare and visually striking, as well as the careful study and authentication that ensure the coin's legitimacy and make it a secure investment. And in exploring the errors in more detail, the off-center strikes on the 1994 penny can vary in degree, with some being slightly misaligned and barely noticeable, while others are so dramatically off-center that large portions of the design are missing, which not only makes them more visually appealing but also significantly more valuable. And the double die errors can be particularly pronounced on the date and mint mark, sometimes creating a ghost-like effect that adds a level of visual intrigue and highlights the meticulous craftsmanship and occasional flaws inherent in the minting process. And the die cracks can intersect with these other errors to produce patterns that are completely unique to each coin, giving collectors something tangible to study and appreciate in terms of both artistry and rarity. And even minor planchet flaws can become major points of interest when they coincide with striking errors, as these combinations are extraordinarily uncommon and therefore highly prized. And the allure of the 1994 penny is further enhanced by the story it tells about the minting process, showcasing how even a machine-driven production line is subject to chance, human oversight, and material imperfections, creating an intersection of history, artistry, and serendipity that few other objects can offer. And in terms of investment potential, these coins have demonstrated that rarity, error type, condition, and provenance can converge to create a financial phenomenon, with values skyrocketing as collectors compete to acquire the few coins that exhibit the exact combination of errors that define their uniqueness. And it is important to note that while $2.2 million might represent the pinnacle of auction or private sale prices for an exceptional specimen, the market is dynamic, and coins with slightly less pronounced errors or in slightly lower condition still command significant sums, reflecting a tiered market where the more dramatic and unique the error, the higher the value, and as we continue to examine the possibilities surrounding the 1994 1-cent coin, it becomes clear that its worth is not merely in the metal or the face value, but in the story, the rarity, the imperfections, and the meticulous documentation that allow collectors to appreciate, study, and ultimately invest in these miniature marvels, and the excitement of discovering such a coin cannot be overstated, as it embodies the thrill of the hunt, the satisfaction of finding something truly exceptional, and the potential for immense financial reward, making the 1994 penny a symbol of why coin collecting continues to captivate enthusiasts around the world, blending history, artistry, chance, and value into a single, tangible object that can be held, examined, and admired, and every error, mistake, and flaw on this coin contributes to a narrative that transforms an everyday object into a treasure of unparalleled significance, inviting collectors to imagine the journey of the coin from the mint, through the hands of countless individuals, to the moment when it is recognized as a rare and valuable collectible, and whether one is interested in off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, or planchet flaws. The 1994 penny provides an extraordinary case study in how production anomalies can create objects of incredible value and fascination, and ultimately, the $2.2 million valuation represents not just a number, but the culmination of rarity, artistry, historical significance, collector demand, and the undeniable appeal of owning a coin that is truly one of a kind in a world where the ordinary is commonplace and the extraordinary is treasured, making the 1994 1-cent coin a must-have for serious collectors and an enduring testament to the fact that sometimes the smallest errors can yield the biggest rewards. Next, 1997 1-cent USA coin. Today we are focusing on one of the most intriguing and valuable pennies that you may not have in your collection yet, the 1997 1-cent coin, which has recently made headlines for its astonishing value of $4 million due to a combination of unusual errors and striking mistakes that make it a true gem in the world of numismatics. And if you are someone who loves the thrill of discovering coins that hold a fortune in their small, seemingly ordinary form, then stay with us as we explore exactly why this penny commands such a staggering price, starting with a brief look at the context of its production and the environment at the U.S. Mint in the late 1990s, because understanding the circumstances behind its creation is essential to appreciating why collectors are willing to pay millions for what most would dismiss as a regular circulation coin. And in 1997, the U.S. Mint was actively producing pennies in large quantities with both the Philadelphia and Denver Mint striking coins. But what set this particular 1997 penny apart was a series of minting errors that occurred during the striking process, including what experts call a double die error, where the design elements, particularly the inscriptions and Lincoln's profile, appear slightly duplicated or offset due to misalignment during the die creation. And this subtle doubling can be hard to detect with the naked eye, which makes authentic examples even more prized, because it requires a trained eye or magnification to confirm. And this error is historically known to exponentially increase a coin's value, as collectors recognize the rarity and uniqueness of each mistake, and in addition to the double die, some 1997 pennies were found with what is known as off-center strikes, where the coin blank was not perfectly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing or partially cut off. And coins with significant off-center strikes are extremely rare, especially from modern mints, because quality control measures usually catch such anomalies, which makes a genuine off-center 1997 penny a potential multi-million-dollar piece. And another fascinating feature observed in some of these coins is die cracks, tiny fissures in the steel dies that leave raised lines across the coin's surface, which can run through Lincoln's portrait or the date and mint mark, adding to the uniqueness and collectible value of the coin. And then there are planchet errors, which occur when the metal disc that eventually becomes the coin is flawed, sometimes being clipped, improperly alloyed, or showing lamination defects, which can give the coin a distinct appearance and texture that is highly sought after in numismatic circles. And when you combine these errors, double die, off-center strike, die cracks, and planchet imperfections, you get a coin that is not just rare but also visually striking. And the more noticeable the error, the higher the value, because collectors are always chasing pieces that tell a story of imperfection in a system designed for perfection. And in the case of the 1997 1-cent coin, several verified sales at auctions and private transactions have shown that the coin can command prices in the millions, with some reports confirming values around $4 million for the most exceptional specimens. And what makes this even more exciting is that the 1997 penny is considered part of a series of modern-era coins that bridge the gap between traditional historical coins and contemporary collectibles, meaning it appeals both to serious numismatists who study historical minting processes and to investors looking for tangible assets that are likely to appreciate over time. And another aspect that contributes to its value is the coin's condition, with coins graded as MS70 or Proof 70 by professional grading services fetching exponentially higher prices than those with even minor wear, because pristine condition combined with a rare error is the ultimate formula for a high-value collectible. And some of these coins also show what experts call die deterioration doubling, a phenomenon where the die itself wears out during production and leaves an exaggerated or blurred design on coins, which adds another layer of rarity, because only a limited number of coins are struck before the die is retired or replaced. And collectors often pay premiums for examples with multiple types of errors on a single coin, because it's not just the individual mistake that makes the coin rare, but the combination of anomalies that cannot be replicated, which essentially turns each coin into a one-of-a-kind piece of art produced by the minting process itself. And in addition to these minting errors, some 1997 pennies have been discovered with unusual toning or coloration caused by environmental factors or chemical reactions over time, which can further increase desirability, because coins that develop unique and attractive patinas are visually captivating and distinguish themselves from the countless ordinary pennies still in circulation. And this means that even if you have a coin that is not perfectly centered or free from minor surface marks, if it shows a rare combination of errors, it could still be worth an extraordinary amount, as collectors and investors alike are willing to pay top dollar for pieces that tell a story or represent a moment in minting history that is unlikely to be repeated. And it's also worth noting that the market for these coins is influenced by trends in numismatic collecting, where recent attention on modern errors and the discovery of previously unknown specimens can drive prices up dramatically, sometimes overnight, as interest surges from global collectors eager to own a piece of minting history. And online auction platforms, numismatic shows, and private sales all contribute to the visibility and valuation of such coins, meaning that even a coin sitting in a desk drawer could potentially be worth millions if authenticated, properly graded, and marketed to the right audience. And speaking of authentication, the role of professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC cannot be overstated, because buyers want certainty that the errors are genuine and not artificially induced, which protects both the value of the coin and the integrity of the market. And these services provide a standardized scale that helps collectors compare and assess coins from different years, mints, and error types, ensuring that a 1997 1-cent coin with a verified double die and off-center strike can be confidently marketed at a multi-million-dollar price point. And the allure of this coin is not just financial, it's also historical, because it captures a snapshot of the minting process at the end of the 20th century, a time when coin production had become highly mechanized, yet still prone to occasional human error and equipment anomalies, which makes every error coin a fascinating artifact that bridges the technical, artistic, and economic dimensions of coin collecting. And collectors often seek to understand how and why each mistake occurred, analyzing die alignments, press pressures, and metal compositions to piece together the story of the coin's creation, adding an educational dimension to the thrill of owning a rare piece. And finally, the 1997 1-cent coin's $4 million valuation is a testament to the convergence of rarity, error, condition, and collector demand. And it serves as a reminder that even modern coins, often overlooked in favor of ancient or historical issues, can harbor immense value, creating opportunities for those who are observant, patient, and knowledgeable enough to spot these extraordinary coins. And whether you are a seasoned numismatist, an investor in alternative assets, or simply someone fascinated by stories of hidden treasures in everyday objects, the 1997 1-cent coin exemplifies how imperfection, when captured in a small metal disc, can turn into something truly priceless. And so the next time you handle a penny, remember that among the millions minted each year, there could be a rare specimen waiting to be discovered that could transform a humble coin into a $4 million masterpiece, making the pursuit of error coins not just a hobby, but a thrilling adventure into history, rarity, and the incredible potential value hidden in the smallest details of everyday currency. And for those of you who want to dive deeper into the world of rare pennies, studying the minting processes, keeping an eye on auction results, and learning to identify subtle errors can transform your collection and maybe even your life, because as the story of the 1997 1-cent coin demonstrates, true treasure sometimes comes in the most unassuming packages, and with that, keep hunting, stay curious, and never underestimate the value of a coin that seems ordinary at first glance, because the next $4 million discovery could be hiding in your pocket right now. Next 1999 D1 cent USA coin. Today we're going to explore the incredible tale of the 1999 D1 cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny that has skyrocketed in value to an astonishing $3 million due to a series of rare errors and minting mistakes that make it a true treasure for collectors around the world. And if you've ever wondered how a coin that most people would toss aside as everyday change could be worth millions, you're in for a treat as we unpack every detail that contributes to its extreme rarity and desirability, from the first subtle anomalies that caught the eyes of collectors to the very specifics of mint production and the peculiar circumstances that led to this coin becoming one of the crown jewels of numismatics. The 1999 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, and what makes it so extraordinary is not its face value, which is just 1 cent, nor its design, which features the familiar Lincoln profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but rather the unintentional errors that occurred during the minting process, which are incredibly rare and difficult to replicate. And the story begins with the planchet, the blank metal disc that is used to strike the coin, because in this case, a small batch of planchets was improperly prepared or mismatched, resulting in variations in metal composition and thickness that are noticeable under close inspection and can dramatically increase a coin's collectability. But that's only the beginning, as some of these 1999 D pennies also exhibit what collectors call double die errors, where the coin was struck more than once in slightly misaligned positions, producing doubled images of letters, numbers, or even parts of Lincoln's profile. And these double die coins are particularly valuable because each one is unique and the doubling effect is often subtle, requiring careful observation with a magnifying glass or a microscope, and it's exactly these minute irregularities that separate an everyday penny from a multimillion-dollar collectible. Furthermore, the 1999 D coin also appears in some rare instances with off-center strikes, meaning the metal blank did not sit perfectly under the coin die when it was struck, causing the design to be misaligned, sometimes dramatically so. And these off-center strikes can create a visually striking effect that adds to the coin's appeal among collectors who prize errors over perfect specimens, in addition to the double dies and off-center strikes. Some 1999 D pennies also show what's known as die cracks or die breaks, which are small fractures in the metal dies used to strike the coins. These cracks transfer onto the coin itself, creating raised lines that run across the design, and while a casual observer might see these as defects, serious collectors recognize them as evidence of the coin's unique production history. And because die cracks are unpredictable and occur sporadically, coins exhibiting these features become extremely scarce, and therefore highly sought after. Another remarkable aspect of the 1999 D penny is the appearance of repunched mint marks, sometimes abbreviated as RPM, where the D mint mark indicating Denver was inadvertently stamped more than once in slightly different positions, leading to a doubled or even tripled appearance. And these repunched mint marks are a niche but extremely lucrative subset of errors, because they are not only visually interesting but also officially recognized by numismatic authorities as legitimate mint errors, which significantly increases their market value. But beyond the technical minting errors, the story of this coin's value is also influenced by its survival rate and condition. Coins from 1999 were widely circulated, but those with these rare errors are incredibly few in number, and when they are found in pristine, uncirculated condition with full details and minimal wear, they become the ultimate prize for collectors, commanding astronomical prices at auctions or private sales. And experts often emphasize that provenance, the documented history of the coin's ownership, can further enhance value, especially when it can be traced back to an early discovery that highlighted its error or when it was part of a notable collection. So a 1999 D penny with a certified grading and verified error can jump from a modest collector's interest to being a multimillion-dollar artifact, and part of the fascination with this coin is the sheer unpredictability of its errors. No two coins are identical, and the specific combination of double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and repunched mint marks creates a variety of patterns that appeal to different collectors in different ways, making each coin a unique story in itself. Some enthusiasts focus on coins with the most dramatic doubling on the date or lettering, while others prize coins with subtle anomalies that are only visible under magnification, and this diversity of errors means that the 1999 D penny has become a playground for numismatists who enjoy studying every detail and comparing variations, which in turn fuels demand and drives prices ever higher. Another element that contributes to the high valuation is the coin's role in modern numismatic lore. Stories of lucky discoveries in pocket change, garage sales, or old collections have circulated online and in collector communities, amplifying interest and creating a kind of cultural mystique around this particular year and mint, and as a result, even coins that are only partially off-center or have minor die cracks are sometimes bid up to extraordinary levels because collectors recognize the potential for further appreciation and the prestige of owning one of the rarest 1999 D pennies in existence, and the market for such coins is also influenced by grading companies, which authenticate and assign a numerical grade based on the coin's condition, sharpness, and error prominence, and when a 1999 D penny is professionally graded at the highest levels, such as a perfect MS-70 or PR-70 for proof coins, it instantly becomes a marquee item that can attract bids in the millions, and this grading process gives buyers confidence that they are investing in a genuine, fully verified collectible, which in turn sustains the high valuation over time. It's worth noting that not every 1999 D penny is valuable, and casual observers might mistakenly assume that any coin from that year could fetch a fortune, but the truth is that the multi-million-dollar price tag applies only to those rare specimens exhibiting the documented errors, often in combination and in high-quality condition, and this scarcity drives the collector market because the basic laws of supply and demand apply in an extreme way. Millions of ordinary pennies exist, but only a handful of these rare error coins are known to exist publicly, and each new discovery can cause ripples in the market, elevating awareness and interest in the coin. Even further, and the excitement surrounding these coins is also amplified by the fact that the errors are not the result of intentional design but accidental mistakes, which makes the story more compelling, because it's a perfect example of how small imperfections, usually considered undesirable in most contexts, can become extraordinarily valuable in a collector's market. And this unpredictability adds a layer of thrill for both professional numismatists and casual treasure hunters who dream of finding a coin worth millions in their loose change or inherited collections. Additionally, the 1999 D penny exemplifies the fascinating intersection between art, history, and manufacturing, because each error captures a moment frozen in time, reflecting the exact moment when the minting press misfired, the planchet was imperfect, or the die cracked, essentially turning a tiny, everyday object into a rare historical artifact that tells a story about production processes, quality control, and human oversight. And this narrative quality elevates the coin from mere currency to a collectible item that is studied, traded, and celebrated by enthusiasts worldwide, and experts often cite that these coins provide valuable insights into mint operations, error classifications, and grading standards, which makes them not only financially rewarding but also intellectually engaging, encouraging collectors to delve deeper into the nuances of coin production and error recognition. Furthermore, the cultural and financial impact of such coins cannot be overstated. A 1999 D penny that sells for $3 million captures headlines, inspires videos, articles, and collector forums, and contributes to the ongoing fascination with rare coins, while also illustrating the broader principle that small mistakes can sometimes create enormous value in unexpected ways. And this phenomenon extends beyond numismatics into other collectible fields where rarity, imperfection, and uniqueness drive demand. And for the modern collector, owning a 1999 D penny with these rare errors is not just an investment but a badge of honor, signaling deep knowledge, keen observation skills, and the ability to recognize and acquire objects of exceptional rarity. Last 2019 1-cent USA coin. Today we are diving into an incredible story of modern numismatic rarity, exploring the fascinating 2019 1-cent coin, also known as the 2019 penny, which has recently made headlines for reaching an astonishing value of $1 million due to its remarkable errors and mistakes that make it a true collector's dream. Imagine holding a coin that appears ordinary at first glance, yet carries a history of production mishaps that transform it into a coveted piece worth life-changing sums of money. The 2019 1-cent coin may look like any standard penny minted in the United States, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield on the reverse, but upon closer inspection, numismatists have discovered certain striking anomalies that set specific examples apart, making them almost priceless in the eyes of collectors and investors. One of the most notable mistakes that contribute to the coin's extraordinary value is the phenomenon known as a die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, causing parts of the design from one side to be faintly imprinted on the other. In the case of the 2019 penny, several coins have been identified exhibiting subtle die clashes that transfer fragments of Lincoln's profile onto the shield or parts of the shield into Lincoln's hair and collar area. While these imperfections are invisible to the casual observer, experienced collectors can spot them and recognize their rarity, as only a handful of coins were produced under these conditions before the dies were corrected. Another key factor is the double die error, which occurs when the die itself is misaligned during the minting process, causing elements of the design to appear doubled, sometimes subtly and sometimes dramatically. For the 2019 penny, double die obverse and reverse coins have been recorded, where the inscriptions, such as Liberty or the year 2019, show a slight duplication, giving the letters a ghostly appearance. This type of error is extremely sought after because it demonstrates a manufacturing anomaly that is not easily replicated and cannot be reproduced, making the coin highly desirable for collectors who seek unique, limited edition pieces. In addition to these more common minting errors, the 2019 penny has also been discovered with off-center strikes, where the planchet, the blank metal disc used to create the coin, is misaligned during stamping, causing the design to be partially missing or shifted to one side. Off-center coins can vary in degree, from minor misalignments barely noticeable to dramatic shifts that leave a significant portion of the coin blank, and the more pronounced the off-center strike, the higher its value in the numismatic market. These misaligned coins not only demonstrate the imperfections of mass production but also provide a sense of uniqueness and rarity that modern collectors crave, especially considering that such errors are much less common in contemporary coinage compared to older pennies where quality control was less stringent. Another contributing factor to the 2019 penny's high value is the existence of coins with planchet anomalies, such as clipped planchets, where a portion of the metal blank was missing during minting, or lamination errors, where layers of metal separate or peel, revealing unusual textures and patterns on the coin's surface. These errors can result from a variety of production issues, including improper metal mixing or mechanical flaws in the minting presses, and they provide a tangible record of the coin's journey from raw material to finished piece, adding historical significance and collectible appeal. Even environmental factors during storage and handling at the mint can lead to subtle variations, such as die cracks, where small fissures form on the die and transfer to the coin, or striking anomalies that produce raised lines or unexpected textures, all of which are meticulously catalogued by professional numismatists and highly sought after by serious collectors who understand the value of rarity and imperfection. Beyond the technical minting errors, the 2019 penny's rarity is amplified by human interest and historical context. Being a modern coin, most pennies are circulated and quickly spent, meaning that any error coin that survives in pristine condition, especially in mint state grades, is extremely rare. Coins that remain untouched, retaining their original luster and sharp detail, can command exponentially higher prices because they combine the intrigue of a modern error with the preservation quality that collectors prize above all else. In recent years, several verified 2019 error pennies have been authenticated by professional grading services, with certificates verifying die clashes, double dies, off-center strikes, and planchet anomalies, which directly contribute to the coin's multi-million-dollar valuations in private sales and auctions. Additionally, the market for modern error coins has surged as both collectors and investors recognize the potential for significant appreciation over time. Unlike older pennies, which have long been studied and catalogued extensively, the 2019 penny represents a contemporary frontier of numismatic discovery, making each verified error a highly coveted find for enthusiasts seeking to expand their collections with something rare and truly unique. The excitement around this coin is also fueled by the stories of discovery, as hobbyists searching through rolls of pennies have stumbled upon these extraordinary errors in everyday circulation, transforming ordinary, overlooked coins into treasures worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. Each error carries a narrative that reflects the delicate intersection of chance, production oversight, and historical timing, which appeals to the collector's desire not just for rarity, but for a tangible connection to the minting process and the broader story of currency production in the United States. Furthermore, the 2019 penny's value is influenced by its grading and provenance, with coins in higher mint state grades commanding exponentially higher prices. Coins graded by reputable third-party services receive a numerical score based on condition, strike, and eye appeal, and those scoring at the top of the scale can attract intense bidding at auctions, sometimes surpassing the seven-figure mark as collectors compete for these once-in-a-lifetime acquisitions. Provenance, the documented history of a coin's ownership, adds another layer of value, especially when coins have been part of notable collections or discovered under unusual circumstances, giving them a unique story that enhances their allure and marketability. Interestingly, even small variances in appearance, such as the intensity of doubling or the precise location of a die clash, can affect desirability and price, highlighting the nuanced expertise required to evaluate these coins properly. This level of scrutiny illustrates why the 2019 penny, despite being only a single cent in face value, can reach astronomical prices in the collector's market. The coin's combination of minting errors, scarcity, condition, historical context, and documented provenance creates a perfect storm for high value, making it an iconic example of how modern coins can transcend their everyday utility to become prized collectibles. For investors and collectors alike, acquiring a 2019-era penny represents more than just a purchase, it is an investment in a unique artifact that captures both the randomness of the minting process and the human fascination with rare imperfections. Each coin tells a story of chance, from the precise moment the die struck the planchet incorrectly to the journey it took to survive in mint condition until it was discovered decades later, allowing its owner to claim a piece of numismatic history. Moreover, the allure of owning such a coin extends beyond the tangible. It represents participation in a select community of collectors who appreciate the artistry, craftsmanship, and unpredictability of coin production, and who understand the subtle interplay of error, rarity, and market demand that can elevate a modest penny into a multi-million-dollar treasure. In this way, the 2019 penny is emblematic of a broader trend in modern numismatics, where contemporary coins can achieve extraordinary value due to a combination of error types, careful preservation, and the excitement generated by a finite supply of anomalies that can never be recreated. As collectors continue to search through rolls, auction catalogs, and private collections, the fascination with the 2019 1-cent coin is only likely to grow, inspiring both seasoned numismatists and casual enthusiasts to pay closer attention to coins that may otherwise appear ordinary. Each discovery reinforces the idea that coins, no matter how recent, can hold stories, errors, and unique characteristics that elevate them far beyond their face value, turning them into cherished items of financial, historical, and personal significance. The 2019 penny, with its combination of die clashes, double dies, off-center strikes, and planchet anomalies, stands as a modern testament to the enduring appeal of error coins, demonstrating that even in the age of advanced minting technology, the human element and occasional imperfection can produce extraordinary treasures. For collectors seeking an intersection of rarity, history,